He was from my generation for sure, maybe even just a little bit older. And from about the same area of the world. He grew up in a small town in northern Minnesota called Hibbing. And he was kind of a strange kid, but he could play music and he could sing, so he was always welcome to some of the parties. But Hibbing was not where he stayed. Like many people, he said, if I can make it in New York, I can make it anywhere. So Bobby Zimmerman went to New York City and changed his name to Bob Dylan. And went on, and most of the world will literally know the rest of the story as he started to sing and started to play and changed music, and in many ways changed the music world, and continues to do what he loves yet to this day. And in a certain part of his life when he was exploring the work and the life and the faith of Jesus, he wrote a song, and it is one of the best songs around, because it was profoundly true. And what he said was this: you got to serve somebody. That's right. You've got to serve somebody. Did you know that? You have to serve somebody. And you say, no, I don't. And the answer to that is, well, you are, whether you know it or not. You're serving somebody. You're serving something. You're got to serve. We were born to serve. Now, on the Christian Entrepreneur Network, which I, Stan Hustad, and a variety of us have put together, we've outlined some of the principles and practices and performances that you're going to have to give to be a successful entrepreneur in what we call the Master Entrepreneur. And this is a little program from the Master Entrepreneur and also part of the What It Takes Teach About that we do with that same world and work. And this is Tuesday of the Thanksgiving week in the USA. And what we'd like to do is, yesterday, we talked about the fact that, hey, I give thanks upon every remembrance of you. First thing you have to know to be successful, be thankful. And I take this from a book that Saint Entrepreneurs, St. Paul wrote to a group of his followers and fellow spiritual entrepreneurs, the book of Philippians, and there are 4 chapters there. And the first chapter is very simple, just as we said. Give thanks. Be thankful. Chapter 2 reminds us that Jesus came to serve. That's right, he came to serve. Because you see, Jesus not only came to show us God and to show us the way to eternal life, he wanted to show us how to live. And he said, I'm here to serve. Now we're going to have some fun later on where we actually say how Jesus serves, sells, and saves. And we're actually going to show some of the persuasion techniques of Jesus that you can actually use in your selling systems if you fully want to serve. And if you fully want to serve, you'll be able to sell. And you may even be able to save something good, just as Jesus did in his entrepreneurial style. So today, I just briefly want to tell you that principle number 2 on this Tuesday, as we work through Tuesday, then Wednesday, we'll take Thursday, the day off, and then we'll come back on what some people call Black Friday, but we're going to call it Bright Friday. Bright Friday. That's what we call it. And we'll tell you a little bit more about Bright Friday. But here's the point. We are made to serve. And Bob Dylan figured that out. You got to serve somebody. You say, no, I don't. I remember one young man who was in one of my workshops, and I began to develop this idea of servant selling. Your business is made to serve others. Peter Drucker at that time was very angry, this legendary consultant, because a lot of businesses were adopting the idea that The purpose of a business was to increase stakeholder value. That's right. The purpose of a business is to bring riches to the stockholders and the stakeholders. And Drucker said, some of us think differently. Because his point was the purpose of a business is to please and attract customers. The purpose of a business is to serve and attract customers. And to serve them again and attract more customers. And in serving and attracting customers and in serving, your business will go and grow, and then the rest of that stuff will take care of itself. So it's about service. Now everybody says we're in it for the service, but you know, to just simply say good service is not nearly enough because everybody says it. How do you serve others? How are people better off? What do people feel? What do people experience? What are they able to know? What are they able to do because of how you've served them? Well, going back to my young man, I was trying to go through this, and he kind of stood up and said, you know, a lot of this makes sense, but let me tell you, I'm a busy person. I've got a family to take care of, and I've got other kinds of responsibilities. Hey, I'm going to have to serve myself. That's who I have to serve. And kindly, but with a pointed edge, I kind of said, well, I hope you pay well and on time, because you may be the only customer you get. If all you do is serve yourself, you may not get many customers. You may not get many clients. You see, the principle of chapter 2 in St. Paul's letter to the leaders and entrepreneurs of his time was, do what Jesus does. Do what I seek to do. Learn to serve others. Now, who are you called to serve? You see, most entrepreneurs talk about a thing that they've invented, or they talk about a problem that they are solving. But I say, who are the people? And that's where they get stuck. Who are you called to serve? Not what are you called to serve? Not what are you necessarily called to sell? Who are you called to serve? Some years ago, a Christian organization, a university, actually would not allow their graduates to leave unless they wrote and presented their service charter. They had to tell, upon receiving their diploma, that before it would be awarded, they had to draft, kind of like a senior essay perhaps, or a senior statement, this is whom I'm called to serve. Now, of course, that's going to change. That could change profoundly. And of course, it could be forgotten as just a silly thing I did in college or university. But the point was, they had to remember that they went into the world to serve others. That's what we are made to do. So I simply challenge you in this Thanksgiving time. Take this as my gift to you, this understanding that you need to revisit as we go through the time up to 2020. Who again are the people we are called to serve? And how are we called to serve them? How are we going to make their life better? How are we going to serve them in such a way that the world is good because they're in a better place and space? I just want that to sit on your head during this Thanksgiving week. And remember, that's the principle. In fact, it's principle 1 for the Christian Entrepreneur Network in our book, How to Be Fully Alive. You are called to serve others. Who are they? How will you serve them? And how will life be better for you and for them because you're doing? We give thanks upon every remembrance of you, and we are called to serve you. Again, just let that sit on your head in this 10 minutes. All the best and blessings to you. I'm Stan Hustad. I'd love to hear from you. StanHustad@gmail.com. StanHustad@gmail.com. We would appreciate our opportunity to serve you. And if you could serve us and sponsor us in some way, we would be very grateful. All the best and blessings during this Thanksgiving week. And bye for now.